Hello friends, how are you? In last class we were discussing about Rutherford's experiment and Rutherford's atomic model. In this class we will discuss about Rutherford's atomic model, but before that let me remind the experiment of Rutherford because it is totally based on the experiment and its observation. Rutherford performed the famous gold foil experiment in which he bombarded the alpha particle, that is helium plus 2 ions, that is we can also say that helium nucleus, because helium has 2 electrons, and when the 2 electrons removed then only the nucleus is remain, so that is helium nucleus we can also call that. So alpha particles bombarded on the gold foil, and he used zinc sulfide screen as a detector. Okay, when he bombarded the alpha particles on the very thin gold foil, then he observed that most of alpha particles, which I am showing 1 1 1 1 1, most of alpha particles passed in a straight line without any deflection, passed in straight line without any deflection. Okay, few of the alpha particle, that is 1:12,000, deflected with small angle, that is 2, which I am showing by 2. Okay, and he third one, that he third observation of Rutherford was very few alpha particles, that was 1:20,000, were deflected by 180-degree angle, were deflected with 180-degree angle and came back on same straight line. Okay, now on the basis of that experiment he conclude that most of atom is empty, most of atom is empty, because if it is not empty then all the alpha particles will get deflection, because alpha particle, that is a nucleus, and if it is mass is distributed in all the atoms, then none of the alpha particle can pass in a straight line. But here, as we considered, as we discussed, that most of alpha particle passed in a straight line, that means most of atom was empty, is empty. Second, all the positive charge and mass of atom is localized at the center of atom, at the center of atom, which called nucleus. Okay, third one, the space occupied by the positive charge and mass is very less, because very few alpha particle came back on the same path, returned on the same path. It's showing that the space occupied by nucleus is very less. Okay, on the basis of these observations and conclusion, Rutherford gave a atomic model which is also called nuclear model, because the term nucleus firstly used in this model, and it is also called planetary model or solar system model, because in this model the Rutherford uh, explained that electron revolve around the nucleus in circular path like the planets revolve around the sun. That's why it is also called planetary and solar system model. Okay, now let me consider its main points or postulates. First point is most of atom is empty, most of atom is empty. All the positive charge and masses of the atoms are localized at its center, are localized at its center, which termed nucleus, which is called its nucleus. Here, that is the first time the nucleus term is used, that's why it is called nuclear model. Okay, second point is the positive charge or sorry the negative charge or electron revolve around the nucleus in circular path, revolve around the nucleus in circular path. These circular paths are called orbits, these circular paths are called orbits. That is, that is positive charge, which is called nucleus. That is nucleus. Electrons or negative charge revolve around these nucleus. Revolve around these nucleus on the definite circular path. These circular paths are called orbits. These are called orbits. I am repeating again. The negative charge or electron revolve around the nucleus in circular path. These circular paths are called orbits. Okay. The next point was according to this model. According to this model, atoms are electrically neutral. Atoms are electrically neutral. That means the total positive charge, that is proton, present in the nucleus are equal to the total negative charge, that is electron. That means number of protons present in nucleus is equal to the number of electrons which revolve around the nucleus. Okay. Now this model, if we consider its achievement, then there was two main achievements. First, it explained about the nucleus. As you know, before it we discussed about the Thomson model, and here that in that model there was no indication and there was no consideration of nucleus. In the Thomson model, he said that all the positive charge distributed on the sphere, but here Rutherford used the term nucleus. That was first important point or importance of that model. Second, Rutherford told about the circular path, which is orbits. He told that negative charge or electron revolve around the revolve around the nucleus in circular path, which is called orbit. Okay, so that was the two achievements of Rutherford. I am here. I am clearing that normally the conclusions, the achievements do not considered here. That's why I'm just only explaining about that. That was a good model, but it has some limitation. The first limitation was it could not explain electronic structure of an atom. As you know that an atom has different shells and in which different electrons are present, but Rutherford could not explain about that. So that is no explanation of electronic structure. There is no explanation of electronic structure of an atom. That was its first limitation. Second, it could not explain the stability of atom. It could not explain the stability of atom. Rutherford model has the biggest objection was given by the Maxwell. Maxwell gave a theory according to which when a charged particle moves or in motion, then it radiate energy or release energy. It continuously radiate the energy or emit energy in the form of radiation. Since Rutherford told that electron revolve around the nucleus, and you know that electron is a negatively charged particle, so according to the Maxwell theory, the moving electron will emit energy in the form of radiation. The moving electron will emit energy in the form of radiation. Due to continuous loss of energy of moving electrons, the path of revolution or motion will be shorter, because as you know that moving particle, because of the energy it is revolving, so if it is energy is continuously decrease, then its path will also decrease, like that. If we consider that this is electron, if it is revolving around the nucleus, it will radiate energy as per the Maxwell, and when it release energy, its path becomes shorter, shorter, shorter. That means the path of revolvation of electron will be spiral, will be spiral, and finally the electron will fall in the nucleus as per the Maxwell. If it is verso, that means if electron finally fall in the nucleus, then atom will collapse, because atom, that means a positive charged nucleus and electron revolve around it. Atom means a positive charged nucleus and electron, that is negative charge, revolve around it. If this negative charge or electron will fall in the nucleus, then there is no stability of atom. But as we know that atom is a stable structure, atom is a stable structure, Rutherford could not explain this stability, that if this charged particle revolve, then why it will not release energy and will fall in the nucleus? Why it will not fall in the nucleus, even it radiate energy, even it revolve around the nucleus? This point could not explain by Rutherford. This point and the drawback of Rutherford are was cleared by Niels Bohr in his atomic model. Niels Bohr in 1913 proposed a model for hydrogen to explain the linear spectrum of hydrogen. Structure, linear spectrum of hydrogen. To explain about that, Niels Bohr proposed a model. His model was totally based on the quantum theory of physics. It was based on the quantum theory of physics. Okay, its main points are: first, the positive charge or the proton, the positive charge or proton is present in the center of atom, present in the center of atom called nucleus. The positive charge or proton is present in the center of atom called nucleus. The second point is the electron revolve around the nucleus in circular path of fixed radius and fixed energy. The electron revolve around the nucleus in circular path of fixed radius and fixed energy. These circular path of fixed energy and radius are called orbits or energy shells. These are called orbits or energy shells. These are called orbits and energy shells. One thing let me clear you that according to the Bohr, each orbit or shell has fixed radius and fixed energy. That is called quantization of energy. That was basis of his model. As we discussed that it is based on quantum theory of physics. The energy of that point is come from the quantum theory of physics. Okay. Third, the orbits are arranged concentrically around the nucleus. The orbits are arranged concentrically around the nucleus. These orbits are represented by integer n, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, or they are also named KLMN and so on. If we consider integer, then these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and if we consider the names, then these are KLMN and so on. For like that, that is the representation of shells. That is nucleus, that is first shell, that is second shell, that is third, and that is fourth. First one is called K, then L, then M, and then N, and their integers values is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Got it? So that here we can again repeat it that the orbits are concentrically around the nucleus. Okay. Fourth point is, with increase the value of integer, the energy and distance from the nucleus increases. As the orbit or shell away from the nucleus, their size, that means radius, and their energy increases. K, which is first shell, has lowest energy. K, which is the value of n is integer value is 1, has lowest energy, and then L, then M, then N, and so on. In this way they increase their energy and size. Now the fifth point, that is very important. The electron revolve in that orbit in which its angular momentum mvr is equal to h upon 2 pi or its multiple. This point is used to describe that where the electron revolve, which electron and where, in which orbital it will revolve. So he said that electron revolve in that orbit in which its angular momentum, that is mvr, is equal to h upon 2 pi or its multiple. If we consider mathematically, then mvr is h upon 2 pi or its multiple, that is nh upon 2 pi. Here m indicating the mass of electron, v indicating the velocity of electron, r indicating the radius of orbit. Radius of orbit. N, that is integer which is assigned as per the orbit, and h, that is a Planck constant. Okay. The sixth point is there is no change in energy of electron when it revolves in a fixed orbit. Bohr said that when electron revolve in a orbit, then there is no change in energy. That means it will not absorb energy or it will not emit energy. That means its energy remain constant till it in the definite or a fixed orbit. Fixed orbit. In this way, he eliminate the drawback of Rutherford. In this point, he eliminates the drawback of Rutherford, because according to Rutherford and Maxwell, the energy will decrease. But here it is clear that there is no change in energy of electron when it revolves in a fixed orbit. Sixth one, when an electron absorb energy from outside, absorb energy from outside the atom, it get excited and move to the high energy level, like that. Suppose this is nucleus and that is electron. If it is absorb energy, then it will jump from this lower energy level to high energy level, or lower orbit to higher orbit, by absorption of energy. Similarly, when electron emit the energy or release the energy, then it move to lower energy level or orbit. That means that is electron, it revolving this orbit, this energy level. When it release or emit energy, then it will come into lower energy level. Got it? The absorption or emission of energy by electron is done in the form of radiation. It is done in the form of radiation, which forms the linear spectrum. Niels Bohr gave a model to explain about that. One. Got it? Now, the limitations of Rutherford-Niels Bohr atomic model. First, it could not explain atomic structure of the heavier elements having more than one electron. It only applicable for the hydrogen and similar atoms or ions, like the hydrogen, that is one electron. Helium, as you know that helium has two electrons, but if one electron is removed, then He plus, that is also one electron. Similarly, lithium, as you know, lithium has three electrons. If we remove two electrons, that is Li plus 2, which also has one electron. So the Rutherford Thomson model, sorry, the Niels Bohr model is applicable for that hydrogen and hydrogen like atoms. Hydrogen and hydrogen like atoms. Okay. Second, it could not explain the process of formation. It could not explain the process of formation of the molecules by chemical bond between the atoms. There is no indication that how the atoms combine and make molecules. Atoms combine and make molecules. That point will not explained by Niels Bohr model. Third, the linear spectrum of hydrogen when studied through high resolution apparatus, then it divided into more fine lines. It could not explain by Bohr's atomic model. That means why the lines splitting into more fine lines, it could not explain by Niels Bohr. If we consider more about it, then we can say that that is the line spectrum of hydrogen. There is lines which are showing by the hydrogen when it absorb or emit the energy. When this spectrum is studied through high resolution apparatus in which magnetic and electric fields are applied, then each line divide into more fine lines. That means this line divide into more fine lines and this one is also more fine lines. That is when it divide in by these effects. Simply we can, because that point is not too much in our syllabus, so let me directly say about that. These are called Zeeman and Stark effect. Zeeman and Stark effect. About that you will study in the 11th class or in the higher studies. The Niels Bohr model could not explain about them, that why the lines divided into more fine lines. The lines divide into more fine lines. Thomas Niels Bohr could not explain about these division of lines of spectrum into more fine lines. Got it? So these are the limitations of Niels Bohr atomic model. After that, various models were given, like the Sommerfeld model, and after that Schrödinger wave equation. At present time, the Schrödinger wave equation is most acceptable theory about the structure of atom, the chemical bonding, and so on. That these higher models we will study in higher classes. Okay. Hope you like it. Thank you.